I may have to use 3-inch screws in there to kind of try to suck this over if I can, depending if there's any shims in there. If there's shims in there, there's no way I can suck this over very far at all. Okay, so I know that more likely I'll try 3-inch screws or 2.5s and see I've got a gap here. This is the middle. This is the middle hinge. Okay, here's the middle hinge right there. And so I know I can push that over, and that'll help push the door up. See the gap there? So I can do my trick up here with the screws, my trick right here with the screws, and hopefully get this door pushed back up just enough to get the door shoe on there without having to cut the bottom of the door off. And after I do these two, after I do this hinge and this hinge, I may have to loosen up that hinge. Because see, look, it's really touching right there, isn't it? I really should have a slight gap there, shouldn't I? So that's where my 1.25 inch screws come in. I'll flop that hinge back, and I'll use 1.25 inch screws as shims. I'll take this off, and I'll put a screw right about there, and one down about there, and I'll let the head stick out just slightly from the back side of the wood after I flop this hinge back, and then I can use those 2 screws as a shim. Do you see what I mean? That way it's going to throw that hinge out at a slight angle. That's going to move the bottom of the door over. And when the bottom of the door gets moved over, guess what? A magical thing happens. You move that door over, of course it raises this side up. If you got a box and you move this side out, the whole box has to move. That side has to move up, that side's moving up, this side's moving that way. You take a box and you just twist it a little bit and it goes up. Do you see what I'm saying? And so I may have to do that. In fact, I may want to work on that hinge. Well, I'm going to work on that one probably first or second. And then I'll work on that one, and I'll work on the middle one. And see, because this is an exterior door, because it goes out into the garage, we've got spring-loaded self-closing hinges. Here's one at the top. You can tell it's different than a regular hinge, okay? And usually they only put this on the door that goes from your house, your condo, to your garage. Or if you're in the garage and if you have a door that goes outside. No, that does not have self-closing hinges. The only one usually in a house is the one going between the garage and the house, okay? Just like this, okay? And you can tell that's a self-closing. I've already taken the little pins out before, okay? So there's no spring-loaded pressure on those right now. I've already taken those out of there. And to do that, you see that little hole there? That's actually for an Allen wrench, and then you just, it's like a spring-loaded deal. You just turn it a little bit, take the pin out, and then you move this over, put the pin back in, so you can take the Allen wrench out, and then do it again, and do it again, do it again, and pretty soon you let off all the pressure. You see what I mean? And so I'm gonna do all that in order to fix this, to get that adjusted properly on there, and that's how I'm going to do that. And you know, these doors take a little bit of time and effort because you've got lots of things going involved. You've got the door shoe, you've got the weather stripping that needs to be adjusted properly so you don't allow the air in. You've got self-closing hinges, you've got a deadbolt, you've got a regular handle on there. Everything's got to be adjusted properly in order for this thing to work. And you see this door? It's a heavy solid core door. Usually it's 1.75 inches thick instead of 1 3/8 inches. Most of your interior doors are 1 3/8 inches hollow core doors. This one's 1 3/4 inches, and it's a solid core door, meaning it's heavy, meaning that's why this door always sag. Always. This is 15 years old, it's sagging. And they have to make them solid core door because this is a 20-minute rated door. You look on the edge of the door or the top of the door, usually it'll have a label. Something like this stapled on there. This one happens to say 20-minute rating. Okay, it's a listed fire door, it says. Listed fire door. Okay, right there. And generally, if you don't see that tag on the side of the door, it'll either be on the side, sometimes they nail it up here on the top, and then generally on your door frame will actually be listed. You'll usually see something on the side. Now this one happens to be up on the top. See, it's a metal plate. See there, listed fire door frame, 20-minute rating. Listed fire door frame with hose stream, 20-minute rated. Okay, so this door is a 20-minute rated frame and a 20-minute rated door. That's why it's a solid core door. That's why you've got weather stripping on here. Usually this is supposed to be rated smoke seal. Then you've got to have self-closing hinges on there, at least a couple of them to get this door to close. So that's why we've got all this stuff going on, and we've got the weather stripping and the door shoe at the bottom. Okay, so I'm not going to show you every single little thing I'm going to do. I've kind of explained to you what's going on, and I think one way or another, I know I've got to work on that one. I think I'm going to work on that first. You see, I'm just going to flop that out, and I'm going to put a couple screws in there. That's why I've got my 1 1/4 drywall screws in there. So I'll do that first, and I'll show you kind of what that looks like. I used to not use screws. I used to undo the screws and kind of pry it back with a screwdriver, and then I would take some metal shims. And try to fish them behind this and kind of poke them in there to get this wedged out. And it's a big pain in the rear to try to do that without messing up your door casing and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, wait a minute, why am I doing that? Why not just use some screws? And I could put the screws in there and screw them in further or unscrew them, and there's my hinge or my shims for the door hinge. Do you see what I'm saying? All right, so I'm going to work on that now. You know what? Change of plan slightly. I'm not going to do that bottom one just yet. I think I'm going to do that one last, because if I shim that out to this, then I may have to mess with shimming that back and forth after I readjust these two. You see what I mean? I want to suck those over the best I can that way first, before I work on that. So I'm going to work on that top one first. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And because this is a solid core door, because it's only has 3 hinges, usually 6'8" tall doors have 3 hinges, 8-foot doors have 4 hinges. I'm going to take a putty knife. I'm going to take my putty knife and my cat's paw. Okay, this here. In fact, I might take a thicker putty knife. I got a thicker one. See how much thicker that is. It's not as springy as that. I don't want to dig into the floor. I don't think I ever would, but we'll just be safe rather than sorry. I'm going to do that because when I take the top hinge off, the door has a tendency to sag because it's a solid core door. And I don't want to just jam this under there, obviously, on the finished floor, so I'm going to put a putty knife under there, right? And then I'm going to push that in as it's sliding along the putty knife. And that's just going to help hold the door, so when I take off that top hinge, hopefully the door's not going to flex too far and stuff. That's my helper. If I had somebody helping me, I would have them hold the door, but hey, I'm trying to show you how to do things on your own, okay? So now I'll be able to loosen up that top hinge.